Welcome, everybody, back to another Backyard Pitmaster podcast. My name is Charlie Maverick. I'm your host. And today I'm talking about all things live fire with my homeboy, content creator, the creator of the Brown Sugar Cafe, everything. Talk about poems, talk about books. You get like all this great, product out there for literature. And he's here to talk about live fire cooking with me today. Terrence P. Elmore. What up, homie? How you doing?
What's happening, man? How's everything going with you?
Pretty good, pretty good. I can't complain. It's another week above ground, so it's all good.
Yeah, that's always a good thing.
It's all good. So before we get started, I want to remind everybody, maybe they don't know. And we'll get to your intro of all the things that you are having out there in terms of content. So this is a live recording. We're simulcasting on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Hey, I got some feedback that some people got short attention spans. This is long form media. They're not necessarily like people that hold the phone and listen and watch all the time. So this is what you can do. If you got a smart speaker, if you got a Chromecast or a Roku, Apple TV, something, put it on your speakers, on your TV, play it in the background, just chill out, have a drink. This is Sunday fun day, and it's game day. So people are getting ready for the game day, the tailgating, just lay back, chill. This is gonna be a relaxed conversation as it always is, and we're just talking about grilling and smoking meats and oh, it's gonna be great. Now, got that out the way. So Terrence, if the people haven't heard you on the podcast before, I don't know why. Let them know of all the great stuff that you're putting out.
Currently, I have a blog. It's the brownsugarcafe.blog. It's where I post a poem every Wednesday. That's also turned into a monthly, right now, monthly life blogs post. And I'm also the executive producer and host of the Brown Sugar Cafe podcast, available on all podcasting platforms. I'm a writer, author. I have 2 published books, a collection of poems. One is called The Essence of Love. The other is called Love Letters, a collection of poems. And both are available on my autograph copies are available on my website, theBrownSugarCafe.blog. And if you so choose, unautographed copies are available on Amazon.
All right, man. That's you putting out some good shit, man.
Appreciate it.
It's always good to have you on. This time we're talking about a whole bunch of stuff like around. I think it's geared maybe towards tailgating. It could be, it's about chicken wings, turkey wings, pulled chicken, maybe some tofu for those, vegetarians out there, spiral ham being smoked. We're going to talk about a new grill that I got and talk about some grill ideas for you because you're looking for a new grill. So let's start it off legit. I don't know. Are you a big like football fan?
Oh, yeah, man. I play fantasy football and all. Matter of fact, once we're done with this, I got to make sure my lineup is good for this week.
Oh man, I haven't played fantasy football in some years. I used to suck at it. Like I came in first one year, and I was like, "Yep, I'm getting out while while I'm on top."
Yeah, and I think we were in a league together, and that's before
That's
I really
right.
understood how to play. I just thought you just picked it one time and you just went with it, and then later on, I found I'm like, oh, you're supposed to be changing this every week. Okay,
You
got
remember that
it.
league that we were in, and I think it was almost 100% Patriots players.
Yeah, yeah. And I was doing the same thing too because I didn't understand. But after
Yeah.
I figured out the concept, matter of fact, I'm in 2 leagues right now, and so matter of fact, I'm the reigning champ in one of the leagues. Got the belt and all.
Oh shit. All
Yeah,
right. That's dope. Who's your favorite team?
the Eagles.
Uh, mm,
Question: are you still a Patriots fan,
yeah, man.
even
I
though
got
Brady and Gronk left?
look. My wonderful and beautiful wife invested so much into Patriots like stuff for the man cave. I'm in too deep.
So 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 am I correct in assuming your loyalty is a part of you being a great husband?
I mean, yeah, first and foremost, yeah. I mean, why not? If football can go away, what I'm saying?
That-
She's not.
exactly. I feel you. I feel you.
Got priorities, man.
Right. Hey, that's what matters.
I'm just saying, like, I'm a Brady fan first and foremost when it comes to football.
True.
Um, so I got two teams. Thank goodness it's part of two different like conferences because that would be crazy. So I'm a Bucks fan only because it's Brady and Gronk on there. My wife loves Gronk, so she watches the Buck games too. And I'm really excited about this Matt Jones dude. I couldn't watch him last week. They black out the games around here. So
Oh
I'm
yeah.
hopefully I can watch him this week because he's supposed to be Brady 2.0. Too bad for Cam.
Oh
There's some
yeah.
they're throwing out reasons why he didn't stay on the team, but it's neither here nor there. But Eagles fan, huh? Hmm.
Yeah, and you bring
Hmm.
up Cam. Like Cam, I'm a huge Cam fan, because I like Auburn. And so when he went to the Panthers, that was my first time actually being intentional about watching Panthers games,
Right.
was just to watch Cam.
Yeah,
And
because
so
we're both from South Carolina.
yeah,
Doesn't it seem like a spit in the face that they call it Carolina Panthers, but it's actually on North Carolina side?
right. And a lot I get the question all the time is how are you an Eagles fan? You know, you live in South Carolina, why aren't you a Panthers fan? I was like, because the Panthers are a new team.
Exactly. What they
Like they
came out
didn't
like
kids when they
towards the latter part of the '90s, right?
I think so, yeah, if I remember correctly, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not just gonna be a fan of a team just because I
Right.
live in the area.
Me either.
I mean that's fine if other people want to do it, but I don't know.
Yeah, because
And
I
the
know
other
a
thing is
guy.
people move around too much. So
And yeah, that's the other thing. I know a guy who is from Alabama, and because he moved to South Carolina, he felt like he needed to pick a South Carolina team, so he's now a Clemson fan. And I'm just like, this is not really how it goes. It's just, I mean, just because you live somewhere, you don't have to. I mean, you could cheer the team on. You know, I understand that, but actually saying you switched altogether,
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm still a little hurt over that Super Bowl that we lost because of y'all. You know,
yeah, that was that made it so much sweeter for me because I was
whatever.
like, I
Whatever.
always look at it as, we beat Tom Brady. It's not like we beat the Patriots, like we beat Tom Brady, and that was
That is true. Because matter of fact, you made him make a mistake which cost the game. So
right.
I'm salty over that still. He redeemed himself
Yeah, yeah,
more
yeah.
times
Boy, did
over,
he
but
redeem himself after that.
yeah, overcorrection. I understand. Oh man. So hold on. Who do y'all play today?
I can't remember. Like I said, this fantasy football thing has me looking at everybody's team.
Does that mess up your loyalty? You feel like you're taking the attention off of your direct fandom, and you're like, oh, I gotta worry about these stats for my fantasy players. I know I felt that way when I was in fantasy football. That's mainly why I had mostly Patriots on my team.
Yeah, well, because also it has you like for instance, usually I would know who they're playing and what time and all of that, but then now my main focus is okay, who do I have in, who's healthy, who's ready to play, and pulling up the schedule. See, they're playing the 49ers. I know that, but I couldn't remember
Ooh,
because my cousin is a 49ers fan.
ooh. I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't know about that game. I don't know.
yeah,
Good luck.
yeah. The Niners are looking good. Yeah.
Yeah. Do they still have Jimmy Garoppolo, or is he? I don't know what's going on with that dude. I think he was hurt or something. And they drafted somebody else. I don't know. I can't keep up with them boys, man. But yeah, good luck. We play the Jets. So I think that's light work.
Yeah. That's
I mean, we lost to the Dolphins, but that's normal for the Patriots to lose. So we talk about football because it's like tailgating season, and people are having gatherings for football games,
Right.
especially now that the world's opening up back up a little bit. You know, COVID had everybody locked down last year. You couldn't really go to, well, some people still went to events, regardless, but
Yeah.
normal people, responsible people. Yeah, I'm talking to you out there. Um, they sheltered in place, did maybe some of the virtual stuff, but back to the normal, mostly now. And we're cooking food for the festivities, right? And I think right now, when football season starts up, it's the real grilling season. That's when it's a little cooler outside. You don't have to worry about the hot ambient temperature from the universe and the
Right.
hot ass grill, so you're
Right.
not getting it from both ends. Your neck sweating. You're like, ooh, I shouldn't have wore white today. Yeah. So we're gonna talk about some stuff that I guess you can use as tailgating ideas and whatever. But we're talking about all things live fire. So since we talked last time, I think it was like a month since you've been on the pod last time. What have you been grilling since then?
Um, Nothing really major. Just we did some steaks and I did some legs,
Mm,
which I haven't done legs on the grill in a while.
how those turn out?
Um, Turned out pretty good. Turned out pretty good. We used um a yellow base sauce on the. I think it's the one. Yeah, the one we got from Trader Joe's that I was telling you about.
Yeah, you love Trader Joe's.
Yeah, yeah, yes. We stay in there.
You might as well like. Are they? Did they IPO? I'm sure they're on the stock market. You probably should invest in Trader Joe's to recoup
You're
some of the
right.
money.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, because the places they have so many different things in there, and like you have no choice but to try it because none of the things are popular brands,
Ah, right.
and so it's like you have to take a chance.
Hmm,
And a lot of times the people who work there are very good about pointing out what's good and what's not, and you should try this. And then my wife follows a group called Black Girls of Trader Joe's, and they always share a lot of stuff from what you should buy, what you should pair together, and stuff like that. But that
hmm.
barbecue sauce is one that we came across because we basically we saw it and was like, hey, let's try it out. And that's the one we get now when it comes to mustard base.
Okay. So, what is your technique on doing chicken legs? I know people do direct, indirect, a combination of the two. What's your technique? How you do your legs?
It just depends on how I feel. It seems like most of the time when I have legs going, it's hot and fast. I just put it
Okay.
on direct heat, and if I'm putting sauce on, of course, direct heat. Then I move it to indirect and sauce it up a little bit. Then I bring it back on the direct heat just for a little while,
Hmm.
and
Right.
then I put some more sauce on it and move it over.
Hmm.
But yeah,
You keep the skin on, right?
depends. Um,
Yeah.
like for me, when it comes to cleaning like legs and thighs, it's just so much easier just to pull the skin off.
Yeah.
But a lot of people like the skin on, especially if it's on the grill because you get that crispness.
Right.
So the last time I did actually, yeah, I did leave the skin on that time.
Yeah. Sometimes when I smoke chicken legs, I don't really get. I don't know. Sometimes I get crispy skin if I do it like I'm supposed to do it, but if I ever use like post oak, for whatever reason with post oak, I don't know about the chemical like like breakdown or whatever. I can't get it super crispy. It just makes it rubbery. I don't know what's up with that.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
I, I don't know what's up with that. Even if I put sauce on it, I gotta almost damn near burn the thing so it can kind of get close back to not being chewy. So yeah, I took the skin off one time. That was a no go in my
It was,
house.
it was no it was no go in
It was no
your
go.
house.
That's a hard pass. I mean, I ended up like shredding it later, and it
Oh
was
wow.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is, I mean, I you got to be a little bit versatile, I guess, with chicken legs. Like everybody feels like you cook the chicken leg, you got to eat it off the bone. But sometimes if you slice it off, and you can make it in long slices because when you slice it, it slices like long ways anyway.
Right.
So you can slice it up, and it's perfect leg if you want to put in on top of a salad or anything. And it's dark meat, so you know it's gonna be juicy. It's gonna be flavorful. And plus, if you take that skin off first, you get more of that penetration of flavor because you get to season every part of it. The thing I don't like about having the skin on is you kind of like, unless you are diligent and you season up under the skin, and maybe if you cook the chicken at a certain like temperature, some of that skin pulls back, and then you have the
Right.
exposed meat that didn't get any seasoning.
Nuts, no seasoning. I hate that when you get some drums that somebody hasn't done that, like you said, got up under the skin and made sure like the actual meat part is seasoned.
Yep.
Because when it rolls down, that's it.
Yeah.
And now you just got a bunch of bland chicken.
The top is nice. The
Right.
middle, not so much. Then you're like, man, it was all right, but I wish I had some season up under this skin, man. So, what do you season with before you put the Trader Joe's barbecue sauce on there? Is it just salt, pepper, garlic, something like that?
Well, Trader Joe's has this 21 seasoning and it has 21 herbs and spices. And it has no salt. So
Oh, it's like
yeah.
Mrs. Dash, kind of.
Yeah, but better.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah. So I put some of that on there. A little bit of Tony's, a little bit of Tony's. Don't want to put too much because barbecue sauce has salt in it, so
right.
don't want to do too much in. Because I like the herbiness to food more so than just like a whole bunch of seasoned salt.
Right.
It just when you put the herbs in there, it just really brings out the flavor. And so I even put some extra oregano on there, even though oregano is one of the ingredients.
Hmm.
I put some oregano on there, and little bit of pepper. And of course, as always, onion powder and garlic powder. I put in there
Yeah,
too.
gotta have those too.
Yeah,
That's good, man. Yeah, I can't remember the last time I did chicken legs, but yeah, I usually just do the salt, pepper, garlic. Then I might put like a Carolina barbecue sauce on there, mixed with a Kentucky bourbon. I think it's both from Sticky Fingers, but Sticky Fingers has some good barbecue sauce.
yeah,
I don't really like barbecue sauce on anything, but if you paint it on there and it's like a really thin glaze, it complements the seasoning if you do it right.
yeah. I'm not a big fan of sauce either, but when I do it, that's how I do it.
Yeah, I think we talked about it before. Like some people, when they barbecue, the sauce is all clumpy on spots.
Yeah,
It looks like I'm like the first thing you do when you taste food is sight, and hopefully you got sight. But you take it in by looking at the food. You're like, ooh, this is going to taste good. But if I see like clumpy sauce all over the thing, see some
yeah,
bald spots over here and over there, I'm like, well, you half-assed that one. Thank you very much.
yeah. Because even like we talked before, like even like the times when I haven't had a brush to brush the barbecue sauce on, I picked up another piece of chicken and I used that as my
Yeah,
brush.
I remember that. That was
It
very
worked.
MacGyverish, you
Hey, it
know.
worked.
Oh man, the life of a chicken. Speaking of that, chicken is mm, still shortage with wings. That's the thing. And I think that we talked about this before. Like I brought it up on my last podcast that you sent me a picture of the pack of wings that were about $20,
Yeah.
and that's a hard no. Um, so I went into Walmart and I was looking for some chicken thighs because I know wings they didn't have them. So I was looking at some chicken thighs because we wanted to make some. I think it was stewed chicken, and you had the boneless, skinless chicken thighs. I think it was like maybe 6 to 8 in the pack. That crap was $10.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
on the other side, you had like a pack of 12 with the skin on and the bone in, and it was like $6. So I'm like,
yeah.
man, if y'all don't take the time just to take the skin off this thing and stop BSing around, I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, that's what I prefer to, if I take the bone out, to do it myself and take the skin off myself. Because like you said, you're basically paying for them to do the work, and then they're not really caring about how much meat they leave on the bone when
Nope.
they take it off. So those thighs are actually smaller than the ones you get if you just go ahead and take the bone out yourself.
That's true. Very true. So they get you at the register with that. I always preach that you got to learn how to break down your own meat. That I mean, you just got to do it. You save so much money. Like I think it was last week or a week before, I had a bone-in pork shoulder. I was like, I want to make some pork skewers. So I took a third of it, made skewers out of it, and then I could call it country style ribs, but the way I cut it, next time I'll do it without the bone because you got to cut around the bone. You don't get even slices. But I made these large cuts of, it could be chops. It's going to be rectangular, so it's not going to be like a legit chop. It does kind of look more like a country rib, but it's not as thick. But that's the way you can break down the meat and just keep it going. So what we did with it is my wife, she took it, she took those cuts and she cubed it up and made some stir fry out of it.
Oh,
Awesome thing to do
that
if
sounds
you,
good.
yeah. So just think of you buying separate containers of, let's say, pork that you want to chop up, or they cube it up for you. You're gonna pay out the yin yang for it just for them to do that. So
Right.
just learn how to cut it yourself. Oh man, yeah. People spend too much money, but the chicken thing is still bad. Steak is going up.
Noticed
Expensive.
that too. Yeah, noticed
Oh
that
god.
too. We did find a pack of wings at IGA. I think it was
Mm,
only $16, which is still higher than we're used to paying for, but
yeah,
that's better than 20.
yeah. Mm. So I found out what the shortage was. Apparently, the processing plants took a big hit last year with COVID, and so how they have it modeled for efficiencies, they have the workers shoulder to shoulder. That's why a whole bunch of people got
Oh,
sick really quickly.
yeah.
So what they did, because of the guidelines from CDC, is they had to space people out and put plexiglass between people, and that means that you can't have as tight of a product line or assembly line. Also, people are still getting sick, and they don't have the full staff, so we don't get as much product from these places because they're not as run as efficiently as they used to be. So I get it. I get it. Everybody's struggling. I get
Yeah,
it.
that makes
Everybody's
sense. I
struggling.
didn't even think about that, but now after you said that, I'm thinking about some like things I've seen on the Food Network where they show the factories and facilities and people are shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah, yeah. It's I don't know if that was a good idea from the jump, but uh, I
You're right.
don't know. You got to change that model. So let's see what we're gonna talk about first. All right. So first thing that I wanted to talk about, and I'll go this real quick because I know you don't eat pork, but I like honey baked ham from honey baked ham, right? And what they do is they have this really sweet, like candy glaze on the edge or the crust of the ham.
Right.
So I went into the freezer and I realized, like, oh snap, I got this. I have a small spiral ham that we never really used. I'm like, oh man, let me take this out here before it gets freezer burnt. So I took some brown sugar, some simply orange juice, and put on a smoker. Had I think it was hickory and oak. Put it on there and just like piled it on. And what I like about the spiral ham is you can get that seasoning like in there because of the cuts. So every time I was trying to baste it because this is what I did first. So I did two things. I put a thick coat of brown sugar on the exterior because it would the slits weren't open yet. And I didn't want to force them open. It opens naturally as it cooks. Put it on there, and you just got to know the exposed part of that first big slice. It's probably not going to be edible after you finish. So just charge that to the game. But it started to get that candy coating on the outside, and then I made you can call it a mop sauce or a glaze. Either one's interchangeably, but I put the orange juice and the brown sugar and a little bit of something else in there. I ain't gonna tell you. To put it in there, and I kind of glaze it every 15 minutes on the grill. So
Oh,
I think it took about I let it go. I think about 2 hours. 2 hours I let it go. And when I first took it off, it has this large, like, the aroma of smoke. It's almost overwhelming when you take it off. So what you got to do is you got to sit it in the fridge after you wrap it up, and the next day when you take it out, it's the perfect, like, balance of smoke, and it's not overwhelming aroma. Uh, because my wife is like, "Oh man, um, this smells like a lot of smoke," and people don't like a lot of smoke sometimes because it messes with their stomach, right? Um,
right.
and I totally get that. So the good technique to prevent that from happening is you need to make this in advance, let it sit in the fridge overnight. It has all those properties that are combining back together because everything is congealing when it's cooling, and then the smoke just traps in the meat. It's not trying to fragrance the whole, like, room. It's not coming off there because the steam's not coming off anymore, right? So you got that locked in, like, taste, but it's not like, whoa, why is the whole kitchen smell like smoke again?
Okay.
Yeah, so I really like that. So I got another small ham. And hey, this is one thing that hasn't gone up yet. Yet. It will go up closer to Thanksgiving and Christmas. But you can get it's about the size if you put both of your hands, cup them together. It's about that size. You get for like $4 to $5. It's really cheap, and it'll last. I mean, the whole family can eat off of it. You make, you know, sandwiches. I like sandwiches. You make sandwiches with that thing, or you just eat it just like it is. Just have it as a snack. I'm like, man, I gotta do this again. But I made it on the new grill that I bought, which is the Weber Smokey Joe. All right.
Okay.
So I was thinking about this. I was sitting, I was sitting, I was thinking, I'm like, you know what? I'm making these small little things, like, more often than not, I'm I'm grilling steak for my wife, and I'm going through a lot of charcoal just to do like one cut of meat, you know. So I'm like, how do I conserve this? So I'm like, okay, maybe I should get a smaller grill because just think about the physics of it, or the
Yeah.
math. Smaller grill, you get a hotter temperature, but using less fuel. So I'm searching the internet, and I love my Weber kettles.
Yes.
I love my Weber kettles. I live and die by them things, man. You gotta somebody has to really talk me out of not liking them so much. I mean, because they're dependable, they last forever, and they even cook with those on the competition circuit. So professionals use it, beginners use it, everybody uses it. So I'm like, what am I gonna do? So scan the internet. I'm like, I had my eye on this Weber Smokey Joe for a minute, and I'm like, this might be the way to go. So I researched a little bit, and I saw it came down in price from what it used to be. I'm like, $35. Well, that's a no brainer.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh snap! Let me go get this. I told my wife. I was like, hey, you know, I'm rolling through charcoal a lot because I'm cooking like 2 to 3 times a week. Um, on the grill, and I'm like, man, I'm going through bags of charcoal a lot. So I need a way to slow this down if it's just cooking for us. I don't mind doing the food orders and stuff like that, cooking on a larger grill, but if it's just for us, it's only like maybe 1 or 2 pieces of meat on there, and it doesn't, it doesn't make sense. So I was skeptical of it because the way that it's constructed is it doesn't have those convenient like sweeping the ash, parts out. It's small, it's portable, it's nice and all that. It's great for tailgating, but I'm like, is it really going to be effective for backyard cooking? So lo and behold, I got it. It was easy to put together. Took like 5 minutes. You just got to screw the bottom on. Thank you,
That's
Weber.
it.
That's it.
So it's like a tabletop.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Okay,
like a
okay, okay.
tabletop. So and you don't need any tools. So it's like the fasteners are like the ones that have the little brackets on there that you can screw in with your hand.
Gotcha. Okay.
Really easy. And you're like, man, I don't know if this thing's gonna make it. It's just so easy to put together. You're like, I don't know. It makes you feel like you're getting like those really, really cheap grills that you can buy, but they have in front of the stores. And you're like, maybe I'll cook with this a couple of times, and this probably has to go to and on the landfill afterwards. It might rust out.
Yeah.
But the reviews that I saw is people were using this thing for years upon years, and it's Weber, and it's just like a smaller kettle. So the construction is about the same. It's just small. It's about 14 inches in diameter versus 21 inch or 22 inches in diameter. So I'm like, okay, this is great. What I found out, which I was pleasantly surprised because I was trying to really conserve charcoal. That was the main purpose. What I found out is this thing is really, really efficient with fuel. I'm telling you, I filled it up the first time because I was doing a reverse sear on a ribeye, and I'm like, all right, let's see how this goes. I got through two different cooks with the same amount of that one portion of fuel. I didn't have to re-up at all. I'm like, man, this was a pretty legit buy. And the fact that you could take it anywhere. Anywhere. Matter of fact, you ever went to a place and you're like, man, or a park or something, or somebody's house, and like, I don't know if I want to use that rusted ass grill, man. I don't
Yeah.
know. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you've been there. Yeah, and all you got to do is take this sucker out your trunk and just light that sucker up. Let's say if you want to go camping. I don't know a lot of black people that go camping, but people go camping. Side note, camping is a spit in the face of homeless people. Stop doing that. God gave us the ability to build shelter, to stay inside that mofo. Don't be trying to be like, oh, hey, I want to be like the homeless people today. Hell out of here. But you could take it camping. Sorry.
I'm glad you tried that out because ironically enough, um we needed another portable grill, and also for exactly what you're saying, for like smaller meat options or whatever, so you won't have to use as much coal. And we had one, but I threw it away. So yeah, it was still good, but that's a long story.
I mean, what? So why'd you throw it away?
I was just being lazy, not wanting to transport it. So
Oh snap!
I was just like, we get another one.
I mean, that's what usually happens, though.
Yeah, but it was a cheap one though, but it was still really good. It was I think it was, where did we get that from? I want to say
Was it Trader Joe's? I'm just kidding.
no. I wish that would have been one stop shop. I think it was from like Dollar General, somewhere like that. One of those.
Okay.
Might have been Family Dollar, but yeah, that little grill was pretty good.
I had one of those when we were in the apartment. Um, that I didn't keep it that long. Yeah, I think I bought it from the same type of place. It was a black grill. The only thing I don't like about those grills is the airflow. Is I don't know. It it doesn't give you the right balance of efficiency and heat distribution. It's
No.
great if you want to cook burgers hot and fast and all that, but if you want to do something that takes a little bit more low and slow technique and you want to do indirect, it doesn't allow you much for
No,
that.
not at all. Because if
Yeah.
you try that, it's like you almost smother the flames when you put the top on. You can't leave it on too long,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so much better. I remember one time I had it going, and like it was about the storm, and like the wind was blowing real fast, and it was just that's the fastest I've ever seen the coals get hot in that small in that small grill because it was open and how the wind was blowing. I was like, oh gosh, they're ready already?
Another thing I don't like about those is, let's say you get a flare up.
Oh
Normally,
yeah.
normally when you put the lid on, it's supposed to wipe out that flame and it's supposed to just calm down immediately. Those don't do that.
No. No.
You just have an inferno inside that
Yeah.
thing. It's contained,
They're
but
just
it's
hanging
burning
out.
everything.
Exactly.
Oh, trial and error is something, I tell you. Whew, man. But yeah, I was looking at some other stuff. Like they have these portable pellet grills, but I'm like, well, if I'm going to get a pellet grill and if it's portable, that defeats the purpose because I got to find an outlet to plug the damn thing up to. So it's not as convenient. And if you're going to do tailgating, you probably want to do hot and fast stuff anyway.
Yeah.
So low and slow, do that before you leave home. I mean, really, the game, football games last a pretty long time, but you don't want to have people waiting on the food and they can't eat until the third quarter. I don't want to do that. Just cook,
Right. Especially if it's one of those games where it's a blowout.
and you gotta leave early.
Yeah, everybody's just going. It's like, wait. Couple more minutes, guys. Couple more minutes.
That's a tragedy. Yeah, you're like, man. Hey, this pork butt still cooking. Like, hey, man, why are you cooking a pork butt at a
Yeah.
tailgate anyway?
That's why some of those die-hard tailgaters get out there like 5 in the morning, and they're out there. I mean, serious. And I know they felt it last year when all the tailgating was just like COVID said, no tailgating, and all these tailgate spots. I remember riding by, I think I rode by Williams Bryce one time during the pandemic, and it was so odd because it was like nobody out there, no tailgating spots. People, and people have been tailgating at spots for like years and decades and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's like tradition for their family and just something that they do. I know that had to be very hard on top of everything else that was hard. It's like yet another thing taken from us because we can't be outside like that.
Oh man. Yeah. But I still wouldn't do a pork butt at a tailgate.
No, how long does it take to do it to pork butt? Like what, 8 hours?
Yeah. I mean, if you do it right, then you have to let it rest. I'm just saying.
What, another hour or two to rest?
Yeah.
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 Be out there midnight trying.
I'm just saying. I'm like, yeah. Or I hear these stories of people doing brisket out there. I'm like, nobody want that dry ass thing, man.
Yeah, but then I think about it too. Now that it's been times like riding past Williams Bryce, like people were out there tailgating for, set up already for a Saturday game, and they might have been doing just that because some of these people come from far, and so they're not just going up the street. So if I'm coming to South Carolina and I live in, Alabama somewhere, I just might prop up early, but you guarantee I'm gonna get started that night before.
My thing is still, man, with a brisket, still, you need to let the thing rest at least 3 hours. Just so it can repurpose that moisture. And all you gotta do is put that thing in a cooler because the trick of the trade is you let it slow down the temperature and let it rest in the cooler anyway. So they can cook the thing before they leave home, and while they're driving, it's in the cooler because it's in the cooler anyway. When you transport the damn thing. Now you got to worry about, all right, I'm making this brisket at the tailgate. That's cool. Everybody see. I think it's about like, the visual. Oh man, the dude's legit. He making a brisket. lo and behold, that thing's gonna be dry because you're probably trying to cook it hot and fast, and you're not letting it rest. So when you
Oh, that's
cut through it,
terrible.
it's probably dried out.
I've had some hot and fast brisket before, and oh man, I think we talked about it on the other show.
It tastes like ground
It
beef.
was it was sliced. No, no, it was sliced up, and then it was grilled hot and fast
Oh
slices.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Don't do
and
that.
this was like years ago before I even actually knew the technique to making a brisket, and I was just like, I've never seen brisket already sliced up. You know, I thought maybe I just didn't know. And when we bit into that, I was like, oh man, what kind of tough,
Yeah, don't do that,
tough
people.
meat. And obviously, the people who were making the brisket didn't know that either. But I mean, if you're going to be bold enough to take on a brisket, you should at least know what to do and how to cook it.
Exactly. Just don't be. I'm telling you, man.
Because
That thing hurts
you
my
know what,
soul, man.
right? Because I'm gonna smoke me a brisket. I don't know when, but like I told you, we talked about this before. I'm not doing no trial meat or trying to figure it out. I'm going for the gusto.
That's what I'm saying. But people don't realize like they could do a nice little cheat with it if they get a few of those chuck roasts. And what if you just want to make burn ends? Some people
Right.
won't know the difference. They just won't know the difference. If you do the burn ends with the chuck roast, and guess what? It takes half the time to do the chuck roast versus a brisket. Who cares? You're sauced up anyway. You know what I'm saying? You're at the tailgate, you're drinking. You're fine. You're like, hey man, this thing. Who's gonna say, hey man, this thing tastes a little bit like chuck roast? Is this brisket or chuck roast? Ain't nobody gonna do that.
But you're right. Now, if you telling people you're gonna bring a brisket, you better have that brisket now. You
That is
better.
true. That is true. Yeah. This just like I'm trying to find a good analogy. It's like, all right, I'm gonna bring a pizza. Then you show up with Little Caesars.
Right.
Like this ain't a kids' party. We actually care about the taste of this pizza, man.
Exactly.
Don't give me no $5 hot and ready. Did you bring that? All the cheese all melted, all weird and shit. Yeah. Oh man, I feel you. Whew. So the other thing I made on this because I've been cooking on this exclusively since I got it.
Okay.
Like I had it a long time. I think I just got like a week or so ago. But
Yeah, but how many times have you used it? That's a long time for you.
4 or 5,
See.
I believe. Yeah, 4 or 5. I ain't gonna lie. So I mean, I did a couple of things at the same on the same cooking session. Like I did a smoked tofu that I told you about last
Yeah.
week. The same time I did the ribeye, and that was the first cook. Now the tofu thing, I was like, yeah. Once in a while, I'm like, I want to eat tofu. I'm weird like that, and I really like tofu. I make stir fries with it. I'm like, you know what? I want a little smoky flavor in my tofu. So I saw a couple of recipes on YouTube because I go down those rabbit holes. That is what it is. And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, why don't I get this tofu? So I found extra firm tofu at Walmart. It's this reputable brand, and I'm like, hey, let me do this. So, if people don't know how to make tofu, it comes with moisture in it. So you gotta dry it out. You gotta wrap it in paper towel, maybe put like a plate or two on top of it, and let the moisture squeeze out of it. So it's not a whole bunch of liquid in it. However, for this, it doesn't really matter because if you want smokiness, to go in all of it, moisture actually helps with smoke. A lot of people don't know that. So smoke is attracted to moisture. So the more moisture you have, the more smoke you're going to get. So if you have this thing super dry before you even put it on the grill, it's not going to get a lot of smoke. That's fine if you don't like a lot of smoke. So what I did is I used a pork rub that I usually use. It's butt rub. That's yeah. Sorry, people grow up. But it has a nice combination of every like ingredient that you need for, a grill. You don't need anything else. You just need that because it has salt, pepper, it has garlic powder, onion, it has cayenne, has all that stuff in there. So you just put it on there, and I put. I was thinking, I'm like, hey, I got this thing of turmeric over here, and I'm like, why don't I put
Oh
some turmeric
yeah,
on there?
that's a good seasoning too.
Yeah, you got to be very careful with that because that dyes everything.
Everything. I know people were painting with turmeric back in the day.
Yeah, that's a good paint. Yeah, that thing is not washing off. You can do an oil painting with
Exactly.
oh man. So I put that on there, and I had to wash my hands a lot. Um, but it turned out pretty good. What I would probably do different, and I told you about this, is I'll give creds to my wife because she was like, well, maybe you should cube it up first. I'm like, yeah, maybe I should, because it will get more, you know, a definition of, smoke in there.
Right.
And I got to cube it up anyway. So with the presentation, it'll actually look better because if you cube it up first before you put it on the grill, then it's going to have that same exterior crust on everything, which is pretty good because you want the texture to be on point. You want kind of a crispy exterior, but like a soft, pillowy inside, if that makes sense. If it's too dry, it's not going to taste worth shit. It's not. I mean, you got to do it. But I will try to do that cube next time. I just finished the rest of it off this morning. Matter of fact, it's pretty good. So I liked it. I liked it a lot. You told me to go to a health food place to get a higher grade of tofu. So tell me more about. Apparently, you know more about tofu than I do, which the bar is set real low for me. So tell me more about this tofu that I should be searching for.
It's well, I don't know that much more, but just watching
Bar
like
set low. I'm just saying.
different different like for one, Tabitha Brown. She's a very famous vegan content creator, actress, and she shows a lot of vegan meals. And so that's how like we got interested in like trying different things. And then my sister, um, she's a part-time vegan and she's put us on to a lot of different types of recipes and stuff like what is it? Sofritas from Chipotle.
Oh, I love those.
Yeah, like that is so good and I didn't realize until I looked it up that that's actually tofu.
Yeah, man.
So I'm like, so there's a lot of exciting things you can do with tofu and going to like health food stores and stuff like Whole Foods. I remember years ago when vegan was becoming a little more like people were paying more attention. It wasn't as popular as it is now, of course, but people were paying more attention. So there were more vegan options. And I remember the first time I had a like a vegan dessert, it was like vegan cake. It was terrible. I was like, oh my God. Like I could actually tell where the dairy is missing. And I was like, I'm not trying this ever again. But then like I think it was like a food yeah, it was a food truck festival. They had like a food truck there that had vegan donuts. And
Ooh.
so we tried it and I could not tell the difference. And then there's been like an influx of like vegan and plant-based options of things and people have become more creative with it and how it's served up and how it's, presented to us. So that's why like I know there has to be like a really good option for tofu from like a health food store because like that's their thing. That's what they specialize in. And even with I saw that somebody smoked a watermelon one time. Now it was a lot of
Yeah.
steps to smoking that watermelon because I mean they brined it and did something else to it
Well, what
and
are you
different.
brining it for, though?
Hey, whatever to get it to get that smoke. That's what they had to do. So I'm like, it
What?
has to be, yeah.
What they brine it in?
I
It's
can't
nothing
even
but water
remember.
anyway.
I can't remember. But
Oh, what?
and it was slicing it, man, and it was like it man. Like if you didn't know any better, you would think they were slicing like like a butt or something. I mean, it was, and it's expensive too.
What?
Yeah, I saw it on the Food Network, and the people who
Who made
had
this?
it,
Bobby Flay?
no, no, it
I mean,
was
he do some crazy shit like
yeah,
that.
it was a restaurant somewhere, and then I started seeing it different places, like you said, like that YouTube rabbit hole. It's
Yeah.
like you just go through like it's also a way to go through a rabbit down a rabbit hole on Instagram, and so I started seeing like that became a popular thing, and the people were saying
Hmm.
like, of course it, it wasn't like beef or anything, but you know,
It's watermelon. It's not.
it actually was. The people said it was better than like it didn't taste like watermelon because I was thinking the same thing. It's like it's watermelon. Like you mess around and get a watermelon, it's not sweet. It's like you just eating sliced water.
Yeah,
Like
that's true.
yeah, but however way they did it, they said it was good. And that's like
Yeah.
that's
I'm
what I'm
trying to
saying.
wrap
Like
my
that,
head around this.
yeah.
Like, what do you? Why you? Okay, so
Yeah,
I.
I gotta find like something on YouTube or something to send it to you because the way they did it, I was like, yeah, if you're taking all those steps, I mean, you basically changing what the watermelon really tastes like before you actually smoke it.
I mean, okay, so
And I think it more so has to do with the size because a watermelon is a big piece of fruit.
so I've grilled watermelon before, and essentially, when you apply heat to it, it brings out more of the sugar compound, right?
Right.
So if it ain't really as sweet, you could probably just throw some little bit of sugar on it. But I'm trying to wrap. Okay, I'm trying to wrap my head around first. Why are you brining it? Because this essentially brining is to do one main purpose. The secondary purpose is seasoning, but the first purpose is to tenderize. Right?
Right.
It's watermelon. It's not tough. So, and why would you change the taste of it? Aren't you here for fruit?
But
Did
oh yeah,
they
see
put barbecue sauce on it? Please
that's
tell
the
me.
other thing. Well, no, that the type of restaurant they were at is they're not putting barbecue sauce on anything.
Oh,
But like that's the other thing with like these vegan recipes and stuff. They're like replacements, and some people seem like they get offended. Like, well, why would you want a vegan pulled pork sandwich, and why would you want to? Because a lot of the people who decided to make a lifestyle change with the way they eat, they still enjoy those flavors, and there's ways to actually recreate those flavors without actual meat. So if you can do it like that and make it exciting, then why not?
I'm open to a lot of things. I'm open to try most things except Rocky Mountain oysters. I'm not doing that.
No, definitely not doing that either.
But this is throwing my brain into like this spiral. Like what with this
Yeah,
watermelon? Like I gotta look it up. I gotta see it. Maybe I'll understand if I see the visual of it. But
yeah,
so
you have to. Just
so
me
they say it's
saying it, that
expensive.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
expensive at the place. All right. I think that I don't know, man. I don't know. My thing is, I get what the vegans are trying to do. I totally get. I aspire to be a vegan. I just like seafood too much, so that cuts that out
me too,
automatically.
me too.
And then sometimes you just gotta sprinkle like. I mean, I know you don't eat pork, but sometimes you gotta sprinkle some bacon on some shit. It's
Now that used to be my thing. Like when I used to eat pork, was like bacon, man. I had to have like bacon with my breakfast. If I got a sandwich, it had to be a club sandwich.
yep,
Um, and I think I got this from my grandma. Like if you made something like some bacon that morning, you maybe save the grease for later. Cause
yep.
use that grease for something with dinner.
Hmm.
And then even like you were talking about ham, like ham was my favorite deli meat, and I used to make like a really really good ham in the oven. I never tried it on the grill
You
because I
should.
wasn't grilling back then, but like I found this recipe, um, and it was like the frozen orange juice, the one that comes in like the little can thing in the frozen section, and
Yeah,
honey and some other stuff, and that made it like the best glaze I've ever had on a ham.
nice.
And
Hmm.
I don't know where that recipe is now because that was like the internet wasn't what it is now. So,
It
but
was
I'm sure
probably
you could
long.
find another. Yeah, I'm sure you could find another one somewhere. I might
Yeah.
even had a paper recipe somewhere where I had it.
Okay.
But yeah, like bacon, that was my thing. And I've even had some vegan bacon that
Yeah.
it wasn't like spot on,
No.
but it did
It didn't
make
even
a
see the spot.
yeah,
No.
but it but it did make a good replacement. And like we do beef bacon if you can find it. Now that's the price
Ooh.
of that is going up and it's hard to find, but I don't like that turkey bacon. Like it's only been
Nah.
one brand of turkey bacon that I liked and it's like the thicker slices.
Was it Butterball?
No, definitely not Butterball.
Oh
Matter of fact, I think yeah, Trader Joe's has a good
Lord. I should have
turkey
I
bacon.
should have led with the Trader Joe.
But it was before Trader Joe's. It was when I think I got it from Sam's, and it was thicker. It's like the other ones seem like sheets of paper.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they are. They're sheets of paper. They are. It's like I think the man goes like, but it's crispy. Like it's
No,
paper.
right.
Paper's
Like when I
crispy.
used
Doesn't
to
mean it's good.
yeah, when I used to do bacon, like I learned a trick along the way was putting it in the oven,
Yep.
and so I stopped putting it on the stove,
Yeah.
and so it's like you would get it kind of crispy in the oven, but like if you're trying to get it crispy in the oven, you have to pour that grease off, or you're just gonna have smoke and fire.
That's right. You got to put it on like one of those roasting pans.
Yeah,
Yeah. Or what do they call it? Broiler pans. That's what it is. Broiler
yeah,
pan. Yeah. I mean, you still have a little smoke because it's dripping down in that pan, but at least it's not like causing a fire, you know. Mm.
right.
So yeah, man. Another thing with I can't go vegan is because of chicken. I like chicken, not
Me
because I'm
too.
black. Everybody likes chicken. You racist people, but I like chicken. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. I don't know if I told you this, but all right. So pork is going up too in price. So I like pulled pork. Pork is going up in price. Chicken parts, if you buy them separately, are going up in price. But guess what? You can buy a whole young chicken for $5. $5, the
Yes.
whole thing. And what I did was pull chicken. So, mind if I tell you how the technique went with that?
Let's go.
All right. So I saw this young chicken. I feel like a weird saying young chicken, but it's on the label. Like I'm not killing the little baby chickens, right? All right. So it's in like I forget what brand it is. I know that Tyson makes it, but I didn't get Tyson. Just because they didn't have it. So there's this technique called spatchcocking, which you're basically butterflying it, cutting the backbone out. I was like, I don't want to do that because I didn't want to, like, for whatever reason, I just wanted to be different. I didn't want to cut the back out. So I cut from the breastbone,
That's all I
which
like
is
doing. Yeah,
it's a lot easier.
yeah,
A lot easier. Um, so so what I did first, and this is why I like to use the broiler pan. If you have a grill and if you have a broiler pan from your oven, if you have an oven, you should have a broiler pan, and or it's cheap to buy it separately. Get one of those. That is your best friend. It helps you not mess up your grill, but it allows for proper airflow when you have it on the grill or smoker. So you don't
oh,
have to worry about the skin part being all loose and flabby was facing the bottom. So what I did first is um I seasoned it up, let it sit in the fridge a little bit uncovered, and then I put it on the Weber kettle. I had some hickory and some cherry wood with this. Cooked it about 250, 275 here and there, fluctuates because of the wind and everything. Um but I made a mop sauce, and this is important. You gotta have a mop sauce. What you don't want to do is have your chicken dry out. That is a cardinal sin. There is a lot of white meat in this chicken because of the
yes.
breast, and no one wants dry white meat chicken. So what you're gonna do is you're going to lay it um, the skin side down because you're not worried about the skin really. Don't worry about the skin. Matter of fact, you don't even have to season that part if you really don't want to because you're gonna pull it anyway. And if you season the skin, you're just wasting seasoning because if you pull it, you're not you're not having the skin left in there. So take it easy on yourself. So you season it up, whatever seasoning you like. Make your mop sauce. What I did, and I didn't really properly prepare for this, so I'll do it differently next time. But I took some barbecue sauce. I took the Carolina barbecue sauce from Sticky Fingers. I mixed a little bit of Kentucky bourbon with that. I put some Worcestershire in it, some apple cider vinegar. I put some man, rosemary, a little bit of rosemary, some
Yes.
oregano, and something else. But you got to dilute it with water a little bit. You got to dilute it with water so it's not as thick because you got all that sauce in there. It's gonna be thick. You can have it whatever consistency you want to, but the basic thing is you want to do is keep the chicken moist. Now, what I would do is I would add onion and maybe bell pepper and maybe celery to it, like the Trinity. Probably add that to it, chop it up real fine, or you can puree it into it if you don't want the chunks on there to burn and you don't want the little chunks all over there, right? So while it's cooking skin side down on the smoker, every maybe 20 minutes, you come back and you just mop the hell out of it. You just keep going, all the parts. Sometimes you want to rotate it because the part facing the fire is going to start cooking faster than the opposite side. And then it's a pro tip because you have because you had these you cut the breast part of it, the wing tips are going to be flat at the bottom. It's going to be
Right.
fine. So you don't have to tuck it in if you did the traditional spatchcock. They usually have to tuck those wings in. You don't have to do it here. Um, and it really doesn't matter if those tips overcook anyway, because again, you're gonna pull it. So every 20 minutes, you go in there and mop it up. What I like to do is cook it all the way until it gets to about 180 and the breast. And don't worry about drying it out because what people will tell you, what these pretentious people will tell you, is if you go over 165, it's going to dry everything out.
Not true.
Not true, especially if you introduce moisture back into it. Now,
Right.
also what you can do is you can have a pan of water under it or whatever, so it reintroduces that moisture and steams it kind of, so it helps you out. Again, you don't need crispy skin because you're pulling it. So a lot of this stuff that you're worried about with the skin, throw it out of your brain. You're pulling it anyway. You got to cook it to 180 and it's not going to dry out because you got all that mop sauce on it. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. And then when you take it off, just let it cool down a little bit. I say about 30 minutes should be fine. You don't want it to be cold, but you don't want it to be super hot. What you want to do is you want to let it tighten up and redistribute that moisture because what it wants to do is it wants to come out if you try to pull it immediately. Same thing with pulled pork. You want to let it rest, so you don't want all of that work that you put into it to just to go away. So my mom bought I don't know if it was my birthday or just a nice gift. And shout out to my parents. I almost forgot. Shout out to my parents. Happy 40th anniversary. Happy
Oh
40th.
wow. Yeah. Happy 40th anniversary.
I was supposed to do that at the beginning of this show, but damn it. All right. Ugh. But she sent me these claws use to pull pork. I,
Oh, okay.
I like those, but you can't really do it with chicken because it's not like a big slab of meat like pulled pork. However, what came in that pack is some gloves, which are designed to pull meat and to keep your hands from burning. But it's not like the traditional grill gloves. It's It's plastic like, but it's silicone. That's what it is. Silicone, and has grips on it, so stuff don't slip out of your hand. You start to pull it, pull it, pull it, pull it, and mix everything up. Now, keep some of that mop sauce. Don't use all the mop sauce, because what you want to do is you want to pour a little bit of mop sauce back into the pan where you're pulling it from, and then, holy Jesus, born in a manger, this bad boy is going to be so good. I was not thinking it was going to be this good, and it was so good. I'm like, damn, I gotta make tacos. Damn,
Wow.
I gotta put this in ramen. It works everything. So what I would suggest to do, don't put more barbecue sauce on it before or right after you like pull it and all that. Just in case you want to put it in different stuff. Just in case. Um, and then whenever you take it off to the side, you can put all the barbecue sauce you want on it. That's fine. But what I found out is that one chicken surprisingly goes a long way
Yeah.
for $4 to $5. You can feed the whole family off of this pulled chicken. The pulled chicken sandwich, we had like maybe 5 or 6 of those, so it goes a long way. Put some pepper jack cheese on there. Oh, come on, man. Come on, man. Toast them buns. Come on, man. Come on, man. This is tailgate food I'm talking about, man.
Man, you have a very uh intricate technique. I don't know how you didn't know it's going to be that good. I mean, all those flavors in the mop sauce, and then you pour the mop sauce that's left over in it.
Mm,
Why are you pulling?
yeah. Oh man.
That I'm thinking like, man, that would make some really good chicken salad.
It would. As long as you don't, again, put the barbecue sauce in there
Right.
as soon as you pull it. Yeah.
You're gonna make me, yeah, you're gonna make me pull some chicken, man.
I'm telling you, I'm
You got
telling
this.
you.
Matter of fact, send me that your recipe,
Oh
quote
man, I gotta
unquote.
write it now.
Yeah. Never mind. I'll just come back to this episode on the replay. I
But I'm
got you
gonna do it
covered.
again. I'm gonna do
Yeah.
it again, and you can do like different flavor combinations if you want to have like an Asian type feel to it. Just use more of the stuff that go like a little bit of Chinese five spice in the mop sauce, um, some hoisin sauce instead of barbecue sauce,
Oh, yeah.
some soy sauce instead of like if you were to put Worcestershire in there, put a little bit of soy sauce. It'll take it. It'll be fine. It won't oversalt it. It'll be fine. And I'm telling you, this thing was moist. The white meat mixed with the dark meat, it did not taste dry at any point. Any point. And then if you throw the bones to the dog, they'll love you for it. Now again, however, if you are like some people, I'm not gonna call it a name, but some people say that they told me that if they do this same thing with turkey, they like to eat the turkey back. You gotta be like, I don't know. I don't know. You gotta like that certain sort of thing. I never heard of people eating turkey back. However, if that's your
Well,
jam, go
yeah.
for it.
Hey, if you, it depends on who's slicing that turkey up after it's done. You've eaten some turkey back. You just didn't know it.
That's
It was
true.
just,
Yeah.
it was mixed up in those slices,
That's
those
true.
cuts. Because you know, once everybody gets that good meat off, and then it's just like the bones left,
Yep.
and it's like, okay, let's get the rest of this meat off and do whatever we're gonna do with it. Especially Thanksgiving coming up and stuff. You've had some, you've had some along the way. Um,
Yeah. Turkey back.
because because I know I've cut off some of the, like, because I try not to leave any meat on the bones, and um, like when I make turkey and there's always some left, and then nobody really flips it over.
Hmm.
But like when I'm cleaning up or whatever, I make sure I get all the meat off and put it up. Like I say, if I don't want to do like a turkey salad or just some slices for a sandwich,
Oh, man.
yeah, that back goes right in there, and it tastes. It actually tastes good too, because if you depends on how you roast your turkey,
Mm-hmm.
it's sitting
It's
in the
right on the
juices
bone.
longer than it anything else.
That's
So
true.
it's just soaking up all the flavor.
Especially if you cut it from the breastbone and butterfly it that way. Yes,
Right.
you will see the moisture pool up right in that area. That's totally fine. Don't do not tip the thing over and try to get the moisture out. Let that thing just sit there and pool up. If you have the whole center part of this chicken with a pool of mop sauce, don't worry. Don't worry. That ain't nothing but flavor. Just let that sit there. You making yourself a chicken stock that is seasoning that chicken.
Yeah.
Do not waste that juice. Do not. It's beautiful. But you talk about turkey. Talk about turkey. Let's talk about turkey. Let us please talk about turkey. We know that there's a chicken wing shortage epidemic. And we love chicken wings. Who doesn't love chicken wings? But it's not attainable sometimes. So I like lemon pepper wings. You like lemon pepper?
Yeah, love them.
You like flats or the drummies?
Um, it doesn't matter to me not to sound like one of those people, but I guess if I had to choose, it would be the drums.
Okay.
But either or, I don't care.
So I've done this before, but it didn't turn out so well. So I did a different technique, and it wasn't necessarily on the grill, but I know exactly what to do now. Because the problem that I had is I wanted to smoke the turkey wings to get that, of course, smoke in there.
Right.
However, what I found out over time is you don't really get a lot of smoke flavor in there anyway to even make it justifiable. So, and also what it does, if you smoke it, it makes the skin tough. You don't want that, especially on the flat part. You don't want it. So if you do it like that, you're going to end up having to smother the thing. So just don't do it. Now, what I did is I looked into the poultry section. I'm like, well, dang, ain't no chicken wings. Ooh, turkey wings. And the day before, my wife and I were talking. I'm like, man, I'm gonna make me some lemon pepper turkey wings. I feel that. I feel that. But I almost changed my mind because I was really looking for chicken wings. Went in there. I'm like, all right, I bought one pack of turkey wings. I think that was like $5. There's two wings in there, the whole wing. Um, and you know how big they are.
Yeah.
That is the equivalent of like a small pack of party wings. I'm telling you, you can get a lot of meat on this thing. So I'm like, all right, what am I gonna do? All right, let me go into the seasoning area. Kingsford makes their own. It's a rub, but I wouldn't use it as a rub per se because it's a lot. Um, but they make their own lemon pepper seasoning. You don't have to do anything else. Have to put anything else on this thing. Just put it all over the turkey. Don't have to brine the turkey unless you want it a little bit more tender. You can do that, but whatever. If you're in a time pinch, it doesn't really matter. What I did is I made it in the air fryer this time. And what I learned is a lesson. So cook this thing super hot and fast and let that skin tighten up. And it's going to look like parts of it are burning, but that's just the lemon pepper seasoning. So what you want to
Right.
do
Yeah.
is you want to, with the tip of it, if you don't want the tip to burn, about halfway through, you want to start wrapping that in foil, just for presentation purposes if you want, or if you like to eat the wing tip like I do, you want to wrap it up in foil. It's still crispy already, but you don't want it to burn. You don't want it to burn to a crisp because the sugar in this seasoning, because it's lemon pepper. There's it's lemon. There's acidity, but there's also, because it's a fruit based seasoning, it's kind of like sugar in there, so it's going to burn on those parts. So what you want to do is have your grill super hot, super hot. I don't know if you want to do it totally direct, but maybe if you have a grill that has a little bit of distance between the coals, or if you have, I don't know if you ever heard of a Santa Maria type grill where you can raise and lower this grate. It's kind of like a Spanish type
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And what happens is when that skin really starts to tighten up, and right before you're like, dang, it's about to burn. Right before, when you hit 180, again, cook it to 180, and it should be right on point then. I'm telling you, I'm telling you, dude. I did not miss the chicken wing at all. I can only eat one of these wings in a sitting because there's so much meat on there. And King Surret has done a really good job with that seasoning that oh man, it it just takes you to a place like, man, I really succeeded. Because you don't want soggy, chewy skin on this thing. That's what I
No,
I really
yeah.
hate cooking chicken wings because or turkey wings because of that. Like I never really got it really crispy.
And see, funny you say that because that's what we're gonna have for dinner today. Some turkey wings. But when I do them, when I do them in the oven, of course, I have them covered with some water in there, and I let that get in there. And then once maybe about an hour and a half, just depends on how big the how many I have in the pan, of course, and how big the turkey wings are. Then I take the wrapping off, and then I let them brown on both sides, and that eliminates the rubbery skin taste or whatever.
Oh, it's a good idea.
Yeah, so that's what I do. It's still tender, um, still easy to take off the bone, but once you let them brown on each side,
Mm-hmm. That's
it's
right.
it's yeah. And I've done them on the grill. I just regular seasoning, but I love turkey wings. And I
I
also
get
found that like the ones from Walmart, I actually like the whole wings and they're what they call toms, which is
uh-huh.
the male turkey, so they're gonna be bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And so what you want are the I can't think of the name right now, but the female turkey because it's smaller, and so you want that. Those are the ones that's close to actual chicken wing.
Okay.
They're not real big or real huge, but those are the ones that are kind of harder to find too. You're probably gonna have to go to like a meat market, a butcher, or something like that. But
Yeah.
Walmart has those huge. Sometimes they're small, sometimes because we found some that are good size, and sometimes they're like huge.
Yeah. I had some huge ones.
Yeah, and it's just like this wing is actually almost the size of, or some cases it's the same size as the actual turkey leg. It's like, what is this prehistoric? What kind of turkey is this? But then I found out it's like two different kinds that they sell,
Steroid.
so you have to make sure you don't. Yeah, so I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah, man, I really I went into the other wing last night. Man, I'm telling you, dude. I'm telling you. I love lemon pepper so much. I mean, that's another thing that you can put at your tailgate or your football gathering. It was like, hey, we don't got no don't have any chicken wings because the store sold out. But hey, who likes turkey? Some people could be like, I don't want no turkey wing. But if you cook it right,
And they say they'll
no,
eat it.
they'll eat it. Yes, they
Yeah,
will.
they eat
Yeah,
it. If they like
it's a big
chicken
ass
wings.
chicken.
Yeah, they they'll take it.
That's all turkey is a big ass
Yeah,
chicken.
because you
That's
know
all.
what I've noticed, like with not eating pork anymore and stuff. It's like whenever you go to a function and there's pork and there's chicken, the people who actually request the pork or whatever, when they see the chicken and they forget all about the pork, and it's just like, but I thought you wanted this other stuff.
I mean, chicken can't.
Yeah,
I
people
can't.
people see
I'm
the
telling you,
chicken and they just
telling you. Just like the pulled chicken. I'm like, dang, this is superseding my love for pulled pork. I'm like, man,
right.
it's a little less heavy as well. So I'm like, man, all right, that's a deal, man. So there's a few ideas for your festivities out there. If you wanted to use that with in the chicken shortage or the raised price of chickens, buy a packet. Please don't buy a pack of wings for $20 for God's sakes. Don't do that.
No,
No, don't do that. So the last thing that we want to talk about is you are in the market for a new grill,
right.
but
Now
you're
I'm
not
gonna do
sure what
two.
you want.
Yeah. We've kind of, yeah, I'm not sure as far as a brand. I think I got one down, but I want to do like a small barrel kind of grill, which
Oh,
also have me having to get like another smaller grill for
hmm,
like, say I want to do just like two pieces of steak. Like you said, I don't want to have to heat up the whole grill.
yeah. Well, I will always throw out Weber.
Of course. But what is it like the kettle grills? like your preference as far as like kettle grills to like a more of a barrel style shaped grill, like what is it? Is there a difference in the cooking, or that's just a personal preference?
Well, yeah, in the way that they're constructed is a fundamental difference. If you look at how the barrels are, you would actually get the best flavor profile from a barrel cooker rather than a kettle.
Right.
However, the kettles are the most versatile. They're, in my opinion, they're a little bit more versatile than a Kamado grill, like a Big Joe or a Big Green Egg, because they have all these accessories, endless amount of accessories that you can get with it, and because of the way that you can position the coals, and they have the grill grates that you can put more fuel in, so you don't have to take the whole thing off, take the meat off, and all that,
Right. Yeah.
and the fact that they're not that expensive and they last forever. I'm telling you, they have Weber kettles that have been in use since the 70s, that you don't even have to take care of them that much. You might have to replace the handle because they come with plastic handles. Back in the day, they used to come with wood, but you can replace that. That's easy. That's like a few dollars, and it's like a screw to take out. And or you just have to replace like the grill grate. That doesn't cost that much at all, and
Yeah.
they last. You can hand this thing down for generations if you want to. I just like them also because the ease of cleaning it out. They have the ash sweeper that you just rock the thing side to side, which is also where you control the intake. You just take it out, squeeze the little handle, dump the pan, and you're just going on your way. I like that a lot better than like an offset or all those other stuff, because even with a propane grill, you got to take that thing apart one day.
Oh
You
yeah,
you, got- you
man.
got to get some deep cleaning.
Yeah,
And the
my
most
pops
I
has
ever
one.
had, yeah, the most I ever had to do with the Weber kettle is take that grill brush and just not even a heavy scrub, but just scrub the inside. It might took like 5 minutes. Easy, easy peasy. But the barrels. Let's talk about those barrels. I want to get a barrel cooker. Um, there's a thing you got to know about barrel cookers first. Um, is about the technique of how it works, because basically you're not cooking indirect at all. It's just giving you a distance from the fire. Everything
Right.
is above the fire. Um, you can have something like a Weber Smoky Mountain, which is constructed in the same material as a Weber kettle, but it has the dimensions as it's basically a vertical barrel cooker. You can use hooks with it if you buy that type of accessory. They have in different sizes, like 14 all the way to like I think 22. So you can have a little versatility with that, but the way that you cook with it is totally different than what you would do with like a traditional kettle grill or kamado. You have to have the bottom. So with the Weber Smoky Mountain, they have parts to it, so it's a little bit more work. They have the bottom section of it, which is your fire part. You light that, and then once that's ready, you put on the rest of it. You just like, put it on there, and then you assemble the rest of it as you go. Same thing, kind of with like a pit barrel brand cooker and stuff like that, which is a little bit more cumbersome. But you have this large um, charcoal basket that you really have to know how the fuel consumption works with it. You just can't light it and expect it to have the same, temperature the control with it the entire time.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so you have to find some techniques of how to do low and slow versus like you burning everything. You could cook ribs on it real easy, but you got to remember it's hanging, unless you put it across the grate, like one of those grill grates. So the bottom part of those ribs can get really close to the fire, and they can burn that part unless you do something about it. So they will give you the best flavor, I would say, of any type of barbecue cooker other than a offset cooker, but there is more work that goes into it. It's not easy to put more fuel into it after you already started cooking. You got to take everything off, you know. But if you learn how to prepare for that, how to have it go low and slow, how to make the fuel last for a long cook like a brisket, then hey, you're all golden, man. I'm a little bit intimidated by it just because of the fact that I like to control how much fuel I put in at any given time because I don't want to keep taking
Yeah,
stuff off.
because I've noticed because I'm looking at some and even like actually at like Lowe's or Home Depot, just looking at different ones, looking online, they have some that do have like a door in front at the bottom, so you can add and add different if you're doing wood or different types of coal and stuff, so you can still add some in there. There's some that you can add some. Um, there's some, of course, with the offset cooker where you can add your fuel in there, your stuff, so you don't even have to open it up.
Right.
Those are pretty cool. But like you said, you have to get real specific with it because if you don't, there's some you like they do have the grates you can move, but if you have meat on that, you're still gonna have to move your meat over whatever and actually pick it up. It's not like a flip up
Yeah.
version like you would have like a kettle grill.
Right.
So yeah, I got you.
Yeah. But I mean, if you master that,
Yeah,
you can.
yeah, because that's true. It's all about mastering. Like if you anything at first when you do it, it's gonna be kind of like oh my gosh. But after a while, you be like, oh, that's nothing, and you
Right.
find different techniques to make it smooth and make it go easier. So yeah, I got you.
Yeah. So the ones that I've heard of that are the best are the Pit Barrel brand,
Okay.
um, and the Weber Smoky Mountain. Those are the two best vertical style cookers like that are on the market. They use either one interchangeably. I think Gateway Drum has one, the brand, but it costs a little bit more than all the rest of them. But they use those at competition as well. I mean, those are dependable. They last for a while. You can even have someone that can fabricate one for you if you can. I don't know. You can find an oil drum. I don't
Oh
know. Find
yeah,
an oil
that's
drum.
the if you really doing it up, man. That's
Yeah. But if you find an oil drum and they can fabricate it for you, it might be lower cost than just buying one, from a big box store or
yeah, that's
online.
true.
Yeah. But I mean, those again, those will last you forever. Those things are meant to last as long as you don't let them rust. Those will last you for a long time.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like some people just that's it. After they grill, they just leave it out there. But it's like you got to cover it, you got to oil it, and
Yeah.
especially don't let it get rained on.
Nope. No, don't do that. Don't let it, especially the pit barrel ones, because what they do is what do they have? They call there's rods in it that actually control the intake. But they're what are they called? Oh man, I can't remember what the actual thing is called. They man, it's something that they use to reinforce like bridges and stuff like that. The that metal rod. Dang it, what is it called?
I know what
Oh,
you're talking about.
yeah.
I see it. Yeah, it's like what they put in between, like when they pouring concrete.
Yep.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I can't remember what it's called either, but I got you. Yeah.
It starts with an R. Dang it, it's on the tip of my tongue. It's gonna bug me. Oh man, it's gonna bug me. But yeah, but those are good. Are those the what other type of grill are you looking for? Just that one?
Yeah, just that one is the what's it? Char Griller brand. I've been looking at those. Those there's a barrel one that I have the option of buying like a offset smoker and adding to it later.
Hmm.
So that caught my attention. It's a nice size. It's not too big, but it's a good size where you get a couple pieces of meat on there going, and then of course with the offset cooker, I'll be able to like smoke different things
Right.
and have more of like a actually like a slow smoking technique because I'll be able to add the coals or wood or whatever on the side and they can get like that nice indirect heat and that nice smoke.
I do like those. My dad actually had one of those. The only thing I don't like about Char Griller, they make some good stuff, but for whatever reason, they rust really quickly.
I saw that, and I think that's because I was looking at some. Um, Matter of fact, we were at Lowe's and we saw some, and they were outside, and everyone we opened it was rusted on the
Yeah.
inside. Of course, because they left it outside and not oiling it and stuff. But
Yeah. I mean, you shouldn't have to do a
yeah,
lot of
that's
maintenance to
true.
offset. The thing is, the metal is really thin.
Ah, got you.
Yeah. So if you do get an offset, you got to pony up some money to get a real good one. Um, that's
Got you.
yeah, that's the only thing because you basically you want the fire management to be really good. Here's an idea for you, and I'm thinking about getting this gravity fed smoker. It's basically an offset. It does charcoal. It's by Char Griller, but I think it's the Gravity 980, which is called, and it uses just regular charcoal. It has this big tall compartment for it. It's constructed a little bit kind of like a large pellet cooker, and it actually works like a pellet smoker. But it takes charcoal, and you can put whatever you want in it, wood or whatever in it.
I think I saw that. Yeah.
Now I don't know. The thing I don't know is how long it's gonna last again, because again with Char Griller, I don't know. I mean, I had a couple of their stuff. They do deteriorate. Even if you cover it, they end up rusting. I don't
Gotcha.
know. But
Okay.
yeah. I mean, you'll at least get a couple of years out of it.
So Weber. So what you're basically saying is Weber might be the way to go, huh?
I mean, not just Weber.
But just I guess making sure like it's something like it's what's the word I want to use?
Has to have really good material, like
Yeah,
thick.
thicker material, something
Yeah,
that's durable.
yeah.
Because I mean, a couple of years is good, but then I mean, I'm like you. When it's cold, I still grill.
Hmm.
So I'm not like one of those people like, oh, okay, it's cold outside. Let's put the grill up until spring or summer. No.
Nah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Then
So
the
yeah,
snow is gonna make it rust for real. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm gonna definitely need and I do, of course, I'm gonna like when I get the grill covered up or whatever, or even pull it into the garage instead of just leaving it outside. But still, I want something that's gonna last because
Now
if I
also
go
with
ahead,
the offset, you have to use wood. You have to use a lot of wood. You can start it with the charcoal, but you're gonna have to get like the actual, not the wood chunks, but the logs.
the
You are,
logs,
yeah,
I thought so. Okay, okay,
yeah. That's the only concession. Like it's hard, at least around here, it's hard to find those unless you have someone that you know that you can get it from, because you just can't buy it from the big box stores.
right,
Yeah.
yeah,
So what I see is on YouTube is they have a supplier that delivers to their house in large quantity. It's probably going to cost you a penny
yeah, yeah,
for yeah. So yeah, so you got to be really dedicated and want that
yeah.
thing.
That's what I'm about
Uh,
to say. I do
yeah,
that. I'm inviting everybody I know over and say,
invite me,
hey,
please.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Like, hey, you got to try this because I spent a bunch of money on this wood.
But the benefit is you will get no better flavor
Of
than you would
course,
on an offset.
yeah,
That's the good trade off. Is you will get the best flavor from that. But again, this is pros and cons, pros and cons. But it is one of those things. I mean, finding a grill is hard because you have to figure out how versatile you need it, how long you need it to last, what is
right,
the cost of the fuel, how much fuel it does is it going to cost you over time. Um, are you going to have to replace different parts like the gravity fed smoker? They don't tell people right from the jump, but they have these little bricks inside of these things that you do have to replace maybe like every other year. And people don't know that. So if you cook on it a lot, you're going to have to replace that. And that's like this intentional that they do that because there's blocks in it that are supposed to deteriorate. and you have to replace them. So, the cost of it over time, you have to really look at that. That's why I like the kettles. I don't do like large, huge cuts of meat or a big amount of quantity of meat at one time. So it just works for me.
Okay.
But yeah, you just got to weigh those different things. Like, all right, is this going to make me feel like I'm working, or is this going to be kind of like still like a hobby? If am I going to be annoyed? Like, how much is
Gotcha.
this thing going to cost me, really?
Yeah, that makes sense, man. Now that you because I know a lot of times when you taking on different things, even if you enjoy it or not, or if it's fun, like when you add so many different things to it, you take the fun out of it.
Yeah,
And it's like this used to be simple at one time, and then just being extreme with trying different things, especially like when it comes to having to use a different type of fuel, like having to go to just straight wood or
yeah,
having to mix the two. It's just like, okay, this is cool, but where am I going to get this wood from?
exactly. In different parts of the country, you only have access to certain woods. Like
Right.
in Texas, you're probably only going to find oak.
Yeah.
Other parts of like the East Coast, like we live on, um, you might predominantly find like hickory or cherry, which is fine. Uh,
Yeah.
but you just got to know, like, if you plan to do a certain flavor profile and you can only have access to one type of wood, that's going to actually dictate how that meat turns out. So, yeah,
Yeah.
you know, is but if you, I'm just saying, if you get like, if you want to have like these big cooks, or you want to branch out and maybe do some, I don't know, small catering or whatever, the offset is where it's at. You got to do the offset. Nothing works better than the offset. I
Yeah.
I know that's coming down the line, and what happens is, if you want a really good offset, you're gonna have to spend at least a G on that, at least.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. So
But yeah, it's a good way to start though. Just I guess kind of seeing if I how I feel about it, and like I said, I'm like, yeah, this especially if you fall in love with it, then it's no
oh,
choice but to upgrade to something
that's right.
serious.
That's right.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be like a birthday present or something.
Yeah.
I mean, you sneak that in there. What do you want for
Yeah.
birthday? Offset. Lord, oh Lord, I wasn't going to spend that much. Don't you love me though? You play that card.
Right.
Like, everybody chip in. I can just get this one gift.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's good, man.
That way, hey, you didn't have to invest that much. Oh man. So what's up for you next? What can we expect from Terrence P. Elmore and the Brown Sugar Cafe? What's coming up next for you?
My latest podcast episode will be available either today or tomorrow, more than likely tomorrow. I have it most of it edited. I have like a little part to edit.
Mm-hmm.
Um so yeah, I should get that done. Well, not should. I'll get it done today. And
Unless you get stuck watching the Eagles.
yeah, I get it done, and I just really need to just tighten it up a little bit, and it's recorded, it's edited,
Yep.
um, maybe play it another time just to make sure for sure. But yeah, episode 3, yeah, I'm on to my third episode. Episode 3 will be available soon. It's the
Right.
topic is love, grace, and gratitude.
Oh, that sounds good. I can't
Yeah,
wait to hear
yeah.
that. Love,
So
grace, and gratitude.
yeah, and so
Hmm.
that'll be out soon. It came from a blog post that I did because that's where I'm getting right now. That's where I'm getting my topics for from my podcast is these lifestyle blog posts that I've started,
Right.
and I posted that last Monday. And so it's just me taking a little deeper dive into the actual conversation about it. So the whole
Okay.
thing started from a picture that we have in our guest bathroom, and it has a message on it that says "Live your life with love, grace, and gratitude."
Hmm.
So yeah, it's a little conversation about that. So
I
if
can't
you
wait.
hadn't subscribed already, make sure you subscribe and turn the bell on. The Brown Sugar Cafe podcast.
That's right. We're gonna have that in the description. It is always nice talking to you, man, especially when it's about live fire
Yeah,
cooking.
man. Same here.
I hope your Eagles are victorious, whoever they're playing. Not too victorious.
The
Hey,
49ers, that's who. I hope
ah,
they're victorious too. I hope the Patriots are victorious as well. Who are the Patriots playing?
the Jets. So that
Oh
that should
yeah,
be
we did
light
already talk
work.
about it. Yeah.
But they lost to the Dolphins, so we're already, whatever. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, hey, it's football and grilling. Hey,
Yes.
it doesn't matter. Sunday fun day is in full effect. You know what I mean? Well, it's always great talking to you. Hey, everybody follow Terrence at Brown Sugar Cafe. Follow this show and all the other shows on the Mavcast Podcast Network. Until next time, y'all guys be safe, secure, show love, and mask up, and stop acting like idiots. And guess what? Hey, Terrence, you know what?
What's that?
There's a snake in my boot. We out.